Okay, we're going to do our animation video now. We're going to do it slightly differently. Obviously, in the start lessons, we looked at dice rolling. We're actually going to have a look at Lego bricks and possibly Lego heads, and then falling from the sky onto a big Lego plate, base plate sort of thing. So, first things first, we need to actually make the basic Lego. So, first things first, like we should do all the time, is give yourself a reference image. So I'm going to go add, image, reference. Now, what I've done is in Student Share W, or whatever it's called for you, make sure it's got the W, go to Blender Resources, and Reference Images, and you should see one in there now called Lego Brick. This is a very basic Lego brick picture. So let's get that out of the way a little bit so we can see it. Now, what we want to do is we want to create this Lego brick. Of course, you can make one whichever size and shape you want. Lego bricks come in all shapes and sizes, but this is going to be the basics. So if I click on this Lego brick here, I am going to scale it on the y-axis, which is the green one. And let's say about that size. I think it's a little bit too high, so I'm going to scale on the z-axis as well. And there we go. Maybe a little bit less on the y. We've got roughly the right size now. I know obviously these are slightly different perspectives, but this will do. What I can do, now if I go into 5 and then 7, let's move this out of the way slightly. Let's have a look. There we go. So this is our top view. Now, very, very basics of Lego bricks. You've got 8 dots or cylinders on top of this cube. Now, actually, to make things a bit easier, I'm just going to scale this slightly on the Y so we are almost perfectly lined up with all of these squares. So we've got 4 big squares and 2 side squares along. It's up to you if you want to be this particular. But then, so that is the basis of our cube from the top and side and the bottom. Now, I haven't put the reference of the underside of a Lego brick, but hopefully you've seen one before. They are hollow so they can get pushed in. So to do that, we need to go into edit mode. If I go up the top and go object mode, edit mode, now we're able to edit specific parts of this cube. Now we actually only want to edit one part, which is this bit underneath. So to select it, I go up the top here. We've got vertex, edge, and face select, and I want to remove this whole face. I click on the face. Press the delete key, and that's the one underneath insert and to the left end, not backspace. And I would like to delete the face. So now we've got a very, very thin box with no bottom on it. Let's go back into object mode. Now, as I said before, this is really, really thin, so we can use a modifier to make it a bit thicker. Click on this tool, add modifier, and then we are going to go onto solidify, and that makes an object more solid. If I push this up a few times, you'll notice this line is getting thicker. Now that should be about thick enough for our Lego block. If you want it a little bit more, feel free. Obviously, it's got measurements, so you can do it exactly if you wanted to. So we've got our basic cube with a hollowed out underneath. Now we need these cylinders. If we go back on top, I take our 3D cursor and I'm going to click in the middle of this one here. And add mesh cylinder. Now obviously it's too big at the moment, so let's scale it so that it's about the right size from the top. Now I think that's about right. Let's get the 3D cursor out of the way. And let's move it so it's right in the middle. Scroll in, shift and push around. So between there and there. So it's quite important to get this about right before you do too much. So that's its positioning from the top. Now, if we go into a side mode, so instead of 5 and 7, I'm going to press 1 now. We can see that it's way too tall. So I'm going to scale it on the z-axis and move it up. So it pokes out from the top. We don't want it to be like right on top because then you might see a bit of a gap. If we look underneath, it's not pushing through, or if it is, it's not obvious. So there we go, we've got one in there now. A couple of things we can do to this. Firstly, go object and shade smooth to make it look a bit neater and smoother. And then what we're going to do is we are going to do an array on this eventually. So I'll show you the modifier and array. So we can have 2, and you just got to be messing around slightly to get back onto 5 then 7. With the x, let's just get this as exact as we can. And then we add another array. This one is by 4. Instead of being on the x-axis, it is on the y-axis. Let's go minus. That's too far. So you just need to move it around till it is about right. If you're finding it's going between 2, so that's possibly too much, that's not enough, you can actually type in, so minus 1.75, something like that. Again, this one, I'll do the same. There we go. So that's about right. It's not perfect, but it's about right. And we've got our basic Rubik's Cube, but not Rubik's Cube, sorry, Lego brick. But we are missing a couple of things on here. Firstly, if you look at our reference image, it says the word Lego on top. So let's get that sorted. With 5 and 7 to get back to the top. And what I'm going to do, right into the middle of here, add text. Now to change what the text says, you need to go to edit mode again. So edit mode, or just press tab. And I'm going to change it to say Lego. And then come out of edit mode. And let's scale it so it's smaller. And let's move it so it's roughly into position on the Lego block. Now what we need to do with this is we need to change it from being text to being an actual mesh. So mesh from curve, meta, surface, text. So into object, convert to mesh. And now this is a mesh. Let's see, it's directly on top of the Lego brick. Perfect. What you'll notice, if you look really closely at a Lego brick, the Lego writing actually sticks out above it. And at the moment this doesn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it on the z-axis, but oh no, it's not working. Well, the reason is this is completely flat. So I need to go back to edit mode. And it looks all weird and funny. So I'm going to select it all by pressing A. And then I press E, which extrudes it, which makes it pull out at weird and wonderful angles. So you see it's pulling out and in. Move that slightly. It's probably a bit too much. Just like that. So if you do extrude and then move out and click, you actually make the writing jump out. And all I'm going to do, now this is a little trick. So we want this to be connected to this cube. So I'm going to select mode, cylinder, sorry. I'm going to select the first cylinder and I'm going to do Control J. Now what Control J does is it joins it, and we've joined it to just this first one, and it has put it on every single other one of the array. So there we go. We've got all of the stud parts. We've got the brick. There's one more thing. If you look underneath a Lego brick, it's actually got some cylinders without a bottom on them, so that this can push up into something. They kind of fit in these circular bits. So if I go underneath it, so 7 doesn't do that bit, but 9 does. So this is underneath it. If I click in there and add a cylinder and make it about the right size. If you're not sure, if you click on these cylinders again, you can notice it's a bit too big. There we go. Again, as accurate as you want to be. I like it being accurate if I can be. So I'll put one in there. It's obviously a bit too tall at the moment, so scale, oh, not scale, let's go on the z-axis. Move it down a bit. It probably still needs to be scaled a bit on the z-axis. Let's go from the side. Scale Z, go Z. So you're just moving it around till it's about right. Again, the better you do this, the more realistic it'll look. But it is up to you how far you go with this. Especially as we're getting animating it, it's not quite as important. As I said before, we need to have nothing on the bottom, and we just want to shade this smooth. So go Object, Shade Smooth. nice and smooth. Then we go to our edit mode again. We should still be on select face. Click on the bottom face, press the delete button, not backspace, faces, and then go back to object mode. Press tab. I might want to solidify this slightly. So here we go. That's all good, can't be seen through the top. And we also need 3 of these, same as before. So 5 then 9. Let's do an array. 3 of this time. And let's go on what we did before, 1.75. It's a bit too much, so let's put it down. So that's roughly about right. Obviously you can play around with it to your heart's content, but there we go. We've got our basic Lego brick. Before we end this video, let's just get all of these things into one big object. It's going to do similar to what we've done before. We're going to actually apply all the arrays. So I'm just going to apply all the modifiers. Sorry, so I've applied those. Let's apply these ones. Let's click on the cube. Let's apply that. And now we want to join them. So I'm going to shift and click on the studs, look for underneath, shift and click on the cylinders underneath, and then Control J to join it. And we've got one big Lego brick. If I put a quick material on it, let's just say we want to have a yellow brick. We don't want it to be specular and we don't want it to be rough, so we want the material to look roughly like this. So it's not a shiny, but it's a nice, neat Lego brick. Now if we look at it like this, we will see we've got our Lego brick. Nice, easy, look at. So in the next one, we're going to look at how to duplicate this item. So you've got lots and lots of Lego bricks that are different colours. Thank you very much and good luck.